Welcome to the pull day workout. Today I'm going to walk you through an entire workout where we're going to start with the warm-up that takes about 10 to 15 minutes. We'll work on our 3 specific exercises, then we'll do some accessories, and then I'll wrap it up. Every single day this past week on Instagram at the Maestro Movement and TikTok, I've given you 3 variations for a hinge, vertical pull, horizontal pull, and accessories. You're going to go back, watch those videos, and choose one of those variations, and you're going to plug that into today's workout. So the warm-up is going to be very generalized, where I just want you to get kind of warm. Then we'll work on one of the hinge movements, one of the vertical pull movements, and one of the horizontal movements. And then accessories are very personalized, so that it depends on you, on your needs and your weaknesses. The warm-up today is going to be a little different, but same goal. So remember that the main goal for the warm-up is to get your body warm, raise your body temperature, make sure you're sweating. You want to work all the muscles that you're about to use during your workout. I've recently got stung by a bee, so we're gonna switch it up. This is a perfect example of how you can kind of mix up your warm-up. I'm gonna start nice and easy here, about 30 seconds on the bike. Again, you just want to loosen up, get all the muscles working that you're gonna use. Just nice and easy. I like to spend around 10-15 minutes for my warm-up here. Now I'll do a couple rounds of this. I'll maybe do 3 to 4 rounds. I'll go for 30 seconds here, then I'll hop off and do some other dynamic stuff. Nice. It's 30 seconds there, so I can hop off here. I'll come over, grab a band. Remember, we're warming up the whole body. So here, I like to start with halos. It kind of opens up the whole body here. And you can go for reps, you can go for time. It's completely up to you, whatever you feel like you want to do. But again, the goal is just to get the body temperature elevated, get your heart rate elevated, start to break a sweat, and just be ready to put some work in during your session. So here, kind of going, some people like to do halos and they stay really stiff. I like to kind of get the whole spine moving, get everything moving. Some people like to do flossing, you can do some flosses. Again, it's completely up to you. You can go for time, you can go for reps. It does not matter, okay? I'm gonna keep my lower body stuff a little stationary today, just because of the bee sting, but road's great stretch. Coming down. We're going to do some hinging, open up the hips. Again, this is kind of where you can vary what you do. It's also time to kind of work on some other stuff. You can work on some coordination stuff that you can also do in your accessories. It's really up to you. All right, we're going to hop back on the bike here. Do another 30 seconds or so. Again, I'm going to do, the idea is to do a couple rounds. Take 10-15 minutes to do this. There's no rush. There's times where if I'm really sore or my body feels really fatigued and heavy, I have a longer warm-up. I guarantee you, the days you feel tired, the day you feel sore, the day you feel fatigued, if you take a longer warm-up and you get past the fatigue, past the tiredness, you're gonna have way more energy to go again. And the warm-up is honestly my secret to being able to work out every single day. The days where I'm tired, I do a longer warm-up. By the time I'm sweating and by the time I feel good, I'm ready to go. You just need to get past that initial wall of feeling tired, feeling fatigued, and feeling sore. Nice. All right, same thing. Now, I'll change this one up. It's one of my favorite upper body warm-ups here. Just go backward circles. I like to pretend like I'm swimming here, so I'm doing like a backstroke in the pool. Same thing, you go for 30 seconds, you go for a minute. Sometimes I like to do 50 backwards, so 25 for each side, and then flip it, and then do another 50 going forward. Again, here I'm just getting my whole body training, shifting the weight Opening up the rib cage, opening up the shoulders. Just nice and easy here. Good, now I'm gonna go forward. Again, if you need to take a little break, catch your breath, and grab some water, go ahead. I like to go for 10, 15 minutes straight. It's gonna make sure that I'm sweating, my heart rate's elevated. Same thing, I'm not really planning here, I'm just kind of going. You're gonna feel the shoulders, all the neck muscles kind of working and getting warm here. Again, that is the goal. All right, just stationary here. Notes in high knees. Actually, I'm gonna use the track, why not? I can walk, so might as well use it. We're gonna do some quads here. Just stretching my quads as I walk. And I'll go about 10 yards. Again, this foot got stung by a bee. Foot's pretty swollen, so I'm moving a little slower today. My balance is off clearly. Nice. On the way back, just do some groins here. Like to kind of pivot, make it a little more dynamic. And just going back and forth. Same exact thing. Good. And then throw in some sweeps. Today is our hinge day. It is a pull day. So just warming up the hamstrings, warming up the lower back. Yeah, I think we've been going for about like 5 minutes. See, I'm still not, I feel a little warmer, but still not sweating. So this is why I take a little longer, you know? Some people, within the first 5 minutes, you may be sweating, and that's completely fine. It's gonna vary for everyone, but you should, 10, 15 minutes, 20 to 25 if you're tired, you're fatigued, to kind of get everything out. All right, so that's kind of the warm up. Now let's move into the work. Deadlift, okay? I like to use the kettlebell for beginners. It's just very easy to kind of handle. It's not too frightening. Most gyms won't have a super heavy kettlebell, but if you're lucky enough to go to a gym or if you own a heavy kettlebell, it's a good thing to practice with, okay? So the deadlift is probably the one exercise that is the most controversial because of like lower back pain or people throwing out their back and this and that. But it's such an essential and foundational movement that you have to know how to do it, and you should do it. But you need to do it correctly. So first, let me explain that. So on the side view, it's always the easiest way to kind of understand and kind of figure this out. When you do a deadlift, okay, or a hinge, there's this idea out there that you're supposed to feel a stretch in the hamstrings. And well, that is correct. That's the wrong way to think about it. The goal is not to get a stretch. You get the stretch because you're loading your feet. So it's a byproduct of what you're actually doing. The easiest way to get into hinge is thinking about being really tired and just leaning over to catch your breath, okay? This is a hinge. If you want a little more detail, or if you want to be a little more specific, what I'm looking for is that your chest faces the ground and that your weight stays over your feet, okay? This is where when I show the deadlift is very different, okay? The main driving force of a deadlift or a hinge is your ass, and same thing with the squat, okay? The hamstring is a secondary mover, quad is a secondary mover. Now, the knee over the toe, this is where people get it wrong. They start to shoot the knees back to get the stretch in the hamstring, and that means all your weight is shifted to your heel. I have never in my life have seen anyone be strong pushing through the heel. When you generate power, whether you're running, lifting, jumping, whatever it may be, is through the ball of the foot, okay? There's a reason the balls of the feet are important. So when you start to drive through the heel, it's my back lifting and not my legs. So with all that being said, I'm gonna get into the resting position like I'm trying to catch my breath, making sure my chest is facing the ground. And I want you to rock back and forth from heel to toe and find the perfect position where your weight is evenly distributed through the entire foot, okay? It's okay if this knee comes over the toe a little bit. we don't want it here because then it starts to turn into a squat, but get your weight over your feet, okay? Now, from here, it's very simple. You just hold the kettlebell, drive up through the feet. Lower the feet, drive up. Load, drive, load, drive. Good. So now I'm going to do 3 sets of 10. I'm going to do my first set to kind of show you. And then you want to do 3 sets of 10, 3 sets of 12. Okay? So load my feet, grab the kettlebell, load, drive. We're going for 10. Now the tempo here is completely up to you. Okay? When you do this, you're going to feel your butt working and your hamstrings. Load, push, load, push, load, push. Okay? That's my first set. You're going to feel when you start to do this that the legs are their main mover lifting the weight. Okay? If you feel it in your lower back, you may need to slow down the weight, make sure you get a good form, and slowly build it up. If you feel your lower back, it's not the end of the world, but eventually you want to build up to the weight where your lower back isn't in place so much. The legs lift the weight, okay? Chest to the ground, weight over the feet. That's what I want you to think about, okay? Lower the feet, drive through the feet. All right, let's get our second set, and then we'll move on for the video. One. Bent over row. This is one of my favorite exercises. It's definitely in rotation all the time. This is an exercise I do with everyone, and including myself. So, again, most important thing, keep the weight over your feet, okay? I'm gonna place my feet where I feel comfortable. It's gonna be a little wider. 90% of the weight is gonna stay over my feet. It's the same exact position as your deadlift or your hinge, where you're in the resting position like you're trying to catch your breath. All I do is place my hand out, and I transfer a little bit of weight here. Again, if you need a visual, pretend you're trying to catch your breath, you're really tired, okay? Now here, what I want you to think about is thinking about turning on a lawnmower. If you've ever seen a lawnmower, at least back then, you'd have to pull the string to get it going. This is what you're trying to think of, okay? You're reaching through the ground, driving the elbow through the roof. So I'm here. Make sure I feel very supported. I feel pretty sturdy here. Grab the weight, and I pull, okay? Remember that we have to do both sides here. So we're gonna do 3 sets of 10 to 12. Good. Then right away, I move it over. If I need to adjust my body, I'll adjust my body, and then same thing here. Nice. Remember that if you look at our Instagram, at the Maestro Movement, or our TikTok, you will see that I gave 3 variations. For a hinge, horizontal pull, vertical pull, okay? Go take a look, go look at the variations, and mix and match them. You want to be good at all the variations, okay? There's a reason I gave you 3 variations. They put you in different positions, they work on different things, but they're all equally important, okay? So again, just like any other exercise, start with something that you feel comfortable with. We're trying to build capacity here, so this isn't about strength, it's about volume, being able to do the movements. Eventually, you'll worry about strength, you worry about going heavy. Right now, we're not worried about that. I want to get good movement, making sure we're getting our sets and reps here, and we feel pretty good about the weight. Nice, straight to the other side. Good, so I'll do one more set. Maybe next week I focus on this for a couple of workouts, and then I switch it up, focus on something else, come back to this, mix it up, but that's a bent over row. Make sure you do it right. let's move on to the next thing. All right, now we're on to the lat pull downs, okay? Now, if you go look at the Instagram or TikTok at the Maestro Movement, I give 3 variations. One of those variations is a chin up. I also give a beginner friendly variation to that. Now, most people will not be able to do a chin up, will not be able to do a pull up. This is a good way to start, but it's very important to do this right. We have a cable machine where I'm allowed to sit down. If you don't have a place to sit down, most gyms will have a lat pull down with the bench. Same exact thing, okay? Same concept here. So, very important here. For most muscles, what you want to do is you want to stretch the muscle as much as you can so you can contract it as much as you can. We're talking about range of motion. The more you stretch, the bigger you can contract, or the bigger the stretch, the bigger the contraction, okay? So for the lat, you have to turn the hand here. If I turn my hand, I'm getting the full stretch of the lat, and when I turn it back to get my elbow into my back pocket, it really shortens the lat, okay? So we're going to take the idea to do this, and this is how we're going to build up to be able to do a chin up. Remember, we're working on the chin up, we're working on this single lat pull down. Those are the 3 variations. So I sit down. Again, I can go crisscross, I can go here, whatever you feel comfortable. I do not mind, okay? So I turn the hands to stretch the lat, and I pull myself through as I pull my elbows to my back pocket. Boom. Stretch, pull. Stretch, pull. Again, we are doing about 3 sets of 10 to 12. We're just trying to work on building capacity, building volume. Don't worry about strength. You're going to get strength by just doing these and building the muscle endurance, building the volume, building the reps. Okay? Get an appropriate weight. You don't need to go too heavy. Do what you can, but stretch the lat, pull all the way down, okay? You're pulling yourself through. So open, pull, open, pull, okay? All right, so that would be 3 sets of 10. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next thing here. Okay, now we move on to the accessories. So accessories, we're working on weaknesses, okay? That's the main thing. You have to have a little bit of self-reflection, understand what you're good at, understand what you're not, and we're trying to improve your weaknesses, okay? It's also the first portion of it where you work on coordination. Coordination is very, very key, okay? In my experience, the difference between a good mover and an athlete and someone who's just starting off is coordination. But when you start to build the coordination, you become more coordinated and you feel more comfortable in your body. That's going to give you balance, which is going to give you strength. It's going to give you power. You're going to be in less pain, less aches. So we're going to work in coordination, and it's also going to be movements that are going to help our hinge, our chin up, or our lat pull down, and our rows, okay? So this one's a really easy one. It's a simple leg, simple single leg balance, okay? You're just balancing, and I just want you to think about reaching the ground here. And for this one, it's really important. The more you bend the knee, the better balance you're going to have. Again, this is that same idea when I was explaining with the hinge, that keeping the weight over your feet is how you develop good balance, okay? When you start to shift your weight into the heel or too far into the toes, meaning not the balls of the feet, on the toes, you lose balance. So it's either foot is flat, weight goes into the entire foot, or you're on the balls of your feet, okay? Those are the 2 ways you balance. There's no other way. Not the heel, not the inside of the foot, not the outside, is the entire foot, okay? So once you do that, you then progress to hops. This is where the coordination is really important. If you're not coordinated, you're not going to have good balance. Don't know how to use your arms, you won't have good balance. Arms are counterweights, okay? Now remember, we can make this into a circuit. So say I do 2, 3, I do like a set of 10, and I come here, let me adjust the weight here. This is probably one of my favorite type of rows, getting a hinge in a row. We used to have a sled. My favorite thing, I would attach a TRX, attach a rope. You kind of allow the weight to pull you, load the feet, come up, and row, okay? If you have a sled, you have something, you have a rope, you can use 2 of these. Grab it here, allow it to kind of pull you out, and row, okay? Mix it up, you're here, using the legs, I can step back. Again, we're working on coordination. All of these movements are gonna help the big movements we're doing in the beginning, okay? Now, the second part of accessories is working on specific muscles that are weak. If you go and do your deadlift, like, hey, my lower back actually feels weak and it's constantly kind of working. So let's do something about it. So you can lay on the ground. I'm gonna grab a mat here. Okay. Start doing Supermans. So very simple. You just lay on your stomach. Okay. I like to go opposite sides here. So I go left hand, right leg. I'm squeezing my butt. I'm trying to clear my chest and my thigh off the ground. Okay. These are going to develop the glute muscles, but they're going to incorporate and teach the lower back how to be involved with the entire back chain. Okay. It's very important for extension. Extension means opening up, that the entire backside works together, not just the lower back. Okay. Extension is not the lower back. Extension is glute, hamstrings, everything helping you open up the body, send backwards. You can also do stuff like a hamstring curl machine here. Okay. You could do Nordic hamstring curls. These are a fan favorite because they really isolate the hamstring. Now, not every gym is going to have access to something like this. You probably won't have access to this, the majority of you, or maybe you do. But here, drive the heels into the padding, you're pulling up with the hamstring. This here is a machine that's going to be at every single gym. It's a hamstring curl machine. You're going to lay down, again, adjust it where you want, where whatever feels comfortable for you. You're going to lay down on it. This one's a little hard to kind of get into. If you want to come around this way, show. But we're here. Again, we're just doing hamstring curls. There's not a whole lot of weight on it. Make sure you adjust it so it's on your legs correctly. But this is where we start to isolate specific muscles. Okay, we need to strengthen those muscles, make them stronger. And again, it requires a little bit of self-reflection to understand where you're weak, but that's good. You're always working towards getting better. Just like you're getting better in those main exercises at the beginning of your workout, you want to progress your accessories. You want to get better at them. Don't be changing them up all the time. Choose a couple that you like, get better. Once you feel good, then you can change them, switch it to something else. So that is the whole full day workout, okay? If you need the variations, go to our TikTok and Instagram, The Maestro Movement. Check them out. They're all there. And then come back and think about what you want to do and start doing this workout. Come back for next week. We're going to show functional core and cardio. And stay tuned for the Instagram and TikTok videos. Follow us on YouTube. Thank you for coming and join us next week.